What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the left side of the map in the red color, playing as Odin. His name is the Rapl. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Loki. His name is Skady. Loki is the proponent of mono god players will not win a tournament. Mono god players will not win a tournament. What does this mean? It means that if you only play Odin, you only play Uranus, you only play Ra in a tournament, you will lose the tournament. You won't win it. And the reason is that as soon as one of those players comes up against a strong enough opponent who can play multiple gods, then when the maps come around, the person who can play lots of different gods picks the strongest god for that map in that matchup, and they get all the advantage. As opposed to the other player who's the mono god player who can only play one god, they're going to be losing that map more often than not. And I'm on Team Skady here. But that's okay. It's going to be more and more that case as we move forward, because I'm telling you, tournaments are getting spicier and spicier. No repeat gods. That's going to be a big, big part of the future of Age of Mythology. If anyone cares. If anyone cares. Alrighty, so what are we going to have here? We've got the Odin-Loki matchup. This is a pretty spicy one. Odin doesn't really have a whole lot of... It doesn't really have the same advantages that Thor has in this matchup. Now, I think that Thor can be very, very good against Loki to defend and get to the heroic age. If Thor can get to the heroic age through Skady, most of the time, Thor's going to be able to get some wins. Obviously, maybe not obviously, but the win...
Skip on?
The win condition for Thor and Odin is basically to get to Ragnarok without losing too badly. But Odin doesn't have that extra bit of gold that Thor has, and that extra bit of gold is very, very important to help the Thor player get to the Mythic Age. So Odin's advantage here is that he gets super hyper consistent early game, which means that you can be aggressive on every single map, and so long as the maps aren't that great for your opponent, you're going to be completely fine here. To be aggressive and win and get some advantages early, which can then snowball into the mid game, into the late game, or whatever else. So we'll see how it's going to go, but Skady is currently leaving his food in his base in favor of moving over onto these Gazelle. A very interesting decision. He's throwing up a relatively forward temple here. And I will say this, majority of the time, Heimdall here is going to be the most terrifying thing for a Norse player to fight against. So if Skady doesn't pick Heimdall and Rapl picks Heimdall, that tends to be a bit more of an advantage for the Odin player even over the Loki player, just depending on the map. Now this map, currently for Skady, we are seeing Skady. I think this is 100% a Heimdall map. He could have come in here, hit this. He hasn't scouted over this side, but there are some gold mines over here he could deal with, but this is definitely a map here which you could get away with Heimdall. But we are seeing Freya here, so we're getting a bit of an interesting matchup or minor god selection where we're seeing Freya and Skady, both gods that I personally would steer away for unless I have a really good reason to pick them. Now this map, there is actually a pretty decent reason to pick Freya on this map, in that you could burn the back wood and you can force your Norse opponent onto the front wood and then have something to raid over and over and over again, because there's really not that many wood forests for the Loki player in this game. So we'll see if is that the reason why Rapl went Freya? Maybe not. He hasn't really scouted his opponent's base just yet, so I'm still a bit confused about the Freya. We are seeing the longhouses coming up, the Hursa coming through. Now, most of the time, we do see Hursa throwing Axemen in this matchup is very, very good for the Odin player. Skady, on the other hand, is just going to be able to go pure Hursa, and it's tough because there's some timings where you can hit flaming weapons before Frost. There's some timings where you can hit Nidhogg before throwing Axemen mass, and with the help of fire giants to really win. So there is a lot of lot of things you have to be careful about. But meanwhile, we are seeing this troll getting pushed back, being a little bit antsy here. I think, or if he didn't decide to run around the wrong way there, he might have been able to get away. But unfortunately for Skady, going to be dropping that one straight away. Rapl spamming out those villagers over onto wood, and he is making those throwing axemen. Throwing axemen Herser. It's such a good build because you don't have to build that many buildings. You just start with a longhouse, you start with the temple. If you advance fast enough, the economy just works itself out. Very, very good. So we'll see how this is all going to go. The Valkyrie now coming in, going to be hitting Skady's base. Going straight after that low HP villager. Very, very spicy there. Nice play from Rapl to make that awareness there. So Valkyrie going to sneak around here, looking to burn some forest somewhere. But it's actually, I kind of like that positioning from Skady. Going onto this forest means that, well, Rapple's not going to burn that. So you're playing around forest fire a little bit, which is pretty funny. Unless he casts it, he sees the villagers, casts it. No. Fair enough. I just see the raids coming in, but that's going to be very easily defended. Attempting to put a ghost building down to block the units from retreating away. The villager, 6 wood in his hands with 24 HP remaining. Going to be fine. We see the Valkyrie retreating away. And more Herser coming out for Rapl. He's actually stopping Herser production and actually starting raiding cavalry production, which I do find it's an interesting decision. I don't see the point in the raiding cavalry, like maybe to get some raids, but generally speaking, like you're not going to hurt. Like maybe if you kill enough of the villagers, you will win. But for the most part, it's just a lot safer to just say, well, time to stop building food-based units and just get yourself to the next stage. Because you're going to run out of this gold mine sooner or later. We do see these walls are up nice and early for Rapl to try and secure this gold mine, but Skady is saying, no, let me in. Let me in here. So the house is trying to come up here, but Rapl deciding he needs to come over and defend this location because that's where his food is. Scar placement a bit funny, but he's going to be fixed up now. And the walls are broken. Meanwhile, we do see the Herser returning back over onto this location, but there are already a couple of units. Skady's multi-raids doing nicely. Meanwhile, the Raven just hanging over here doing its thing. Skady's just happily eating food in the middle of the map while pushing Rapl off of his food. There's not a lot of food left for Rapl here. He's only got the chickens left, or if he wants to push forward onto these giraffes, he could try that. And there are obviously elephant in the middle of the map that are possible to be eaten, but you do have to fight for them. And there's those villagers currently very, very spicily positioned. They are finishing up that food. The Herser does drop. Meanwhile, over here, so just going to retreat away for Skady. Still just trying to find every single little bit of damage he can do. He's still building. He's starting his raiding cavalry here, actually. So maybe cutting some of that extra food expenditure so that he can make his way to the heroic age. See how that's all going to go. Villagers, or I should say throwing axemen, rebuilding this wall that was so carelessly placed before. Still very important to try and hold on to this gold mine, but leaving the thing there is bad, but he's going to fix that up. Good. Now Skady going to be trying to find somewhere to attack, as we do see Rapl's army moving forward. Ready to start fighting this army here. We saw an axeman sniping down one Herser. Do these Herser have their upgrade? They do. So that's going to mean Rapl needs to be a little bit careful here. He is throwing up a longhouse over here. That's going to possibly get taken down. We just see it. Ooh, beautiful Iron spawn here. And I love that. Blow the horn onto the closest unit you possibly can. Don't care if it's a hero or not, because it just boosts your attack so much if all your other units are fighting. Very, very important. And we will be seeing the longhouse getting taken down. And the houses falling as well as Rapl moving in, trying to push these Herser away. One house down. Skady says, I want to fight. And Rapple's like, no, don't let me. I don't want to fight. Let me hide. Let me get to the next age. You can see he's got himself 400 gold left over here. He could cut all of this in advance right now, but he's still just going to be spamming units. He might not have the gold to get to the next age, which is going to be really, really bad for him. He's not paying attention to it. And well, this could be like lights out if he doesn't. He has just enough. It's okay. He's noticed. He's noticed. So we will be able to, at the very least, push out. We could have a whole massive amount of raiding cavalry here for Skady, which is very, 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 very peculiar, to be honest. There aren't any economic upgrades. We do see him in the middle of the map now with the large gold mine. The Raven flying overhead is not going to be spotting this, it seems, for Rapl. So Rapple's got no idea that there's a gold mining operation going on over here. Do see the Raven spotting over here. The villagers moving up to the middle of the map to jump onto these elephant. The raiding cavalry from Skady going to be looking to hit something. The villagers finishing up that gold mine, retreating back into the town center. We will be seeing one dwarf kill, it seems, as Skady is 40% of the way there. And Skady, on the other hand, not going to be advancing just yet. Skady just going to retreat up the top. Hanging over here with his raiders, looking for someone else. We just see the villagers making their way in. Very, very spicy here. Where's the rest of Rapple's army? It's currently being distracted by a couple of Ursa here. And these villagers are going to be in a bit of a precarious position. It's now the raiders coming over here. The unupgraded Rapl raiders coming in here fighting. I'm seeing the villagers coming in to try and tank some damage, but not fighting just yet. The throwing axemen are in here. Skady still... Ooh. That is... ultra spicy. Njord. I say it again. I don't know what the point is. Does he throw up a temple here, delete his home temple, then try and force a frost on his home base? Because maybe Skady is feeling like the only real avenue he has to win this game is to go and prevent Balder from coming in, because that's tends to be how Norse players lose. But I don't see any forward temple, so the mountain giant's going to spawn all the way back here. Dwarves leaving this location, villagers retreating away. There's the Njord here, so going to be casting himself his walking woods. Only gets 5. I think he's supposed to get 6. Maybe he, not sure. Anyways, the unit's going to be coming over, trying to take the town center down. We will be seeing a frost somewhere. Big frost on the raiding cavalry as he realizes the Bragi is not coming in, and all his villagers would have died here. But meanwhile, the town center is getting torn down. There is a frost giant here. There's a ton of throwing axemen. So the question is, how fast is this town center going to go down, and is it going to matter or not? And it looks like Skady's saying, well, I can't fight this. I'm going to try and move over to your gold villages and take them down. But Rapl smartly retreating away from this location, and now Skady's down heroic age god power. Same, and the village is getting sniped here by Rapl as well, as he's been able to raid while Skady is doing all of that extra damage. An incredible fight here from Rapl. Very, very nice play here. And now we see the Skady going after these villages here, trying to defend. We've got the Skady units swinging around, trying to go after this again. But Rapl should be able to get over here. He's still got a little bit of HP left. He has to be a little bit careful. Where's the mountain giant for Skady? It's swinging around here, so we can actually move in and snipe this town center if he's lucky enough. The villagers here currently getting wedged into the ground or into the cliff here, as Rapple's throwing axemen coming in, hitting these Hursa very, very nicely. And it is looking like Skady has to retreat away. Not ready to take this fight too easily here. So now we have to ask the question, really, what does Skady actually have now in order to deal with what Rapple's going to be able to do? And the only thing I can really see is bring give a Jarl. He's already got medium upgrades. We just see the army coming back onto this town center, the mountain giant coming in as well. And this is a perfect snipe from Skady, going to be moving Rapl down to 1 town center. But the question is, does it matter? There's so many units coming in now. Oh, GG. Skady's sneaky town center snipe was too strong for Rapl. Rapl didn't want to keep playing here. I wonder why. Did he lose all his villagers? Must have lost. No, he's still got villagers here. Let me see the villager count here. Oh, that's the wrong thing. I must have missed how many villagers actually got sniped. Yeah, it's pretty dire. 29 to 39 0 town centers to 2 town centers. The question really is, could Rapl just push in here and kill everything or not? Probably not. Skady's kind of all over the map here. But really nice play here from Skady, making Njord work. Very, very strong. I am genuinely surprised that this worked. Genuinely surprised. I was like, Njord gets countered by Skady and everything else, or Frost, and the Frost Giant is just so good. But this raid over here onto this gold mine was absolutely nuts, forcing Rapl to have to cast Frost here. Then he had to deal with over here, and then he was just chasing the units around, and then he just couldn't hold the town center once the Frost Giant or once the Mountain Giant came in. Big brain Skady play. And that's what makes him so good at this game. Very strong decision making. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next game.